Hey, welcome in Huntsville. Another wonderful good morning to you. Thanks for waking up with us. What do you love about Huntsville? What makes this a great place to be?
Everyone here is very genuine and very kind and friendly. You never hesitate to speak up and say hello or good morning or just acknowledge the person walking by.
The thing that I love most about Huntsville, I love the peace that Huntsville brings. I love the peace that it gives me.
I feel accepted and part of the town and like I belong here.
Huntsville is where my lovely wife lived when I met her, so I moved here. So I'm pretty thankful for her.
All right.
We're bucking for you in Huntsville, Texas. Hello, I'm Billy Cobbin, the Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home.
Hey, it's Kay Bowden with Tomorrow's Pros Montessori Schools.
Good morning, Huntsville.
Good morning.
Hey, I'm Karen.
I'm Toy. And I'm Denise.
And from all of us at Walker County Federal Credit Union, good morning, Huntsville.
Pleasant good morning and welcome in to another edition of Good Morning Huntsville. We're excited to be here today as we get rolling, episode 353. And Jason, I joke around, man. We're getting close to that 365 where I can put this on autopilot for a year and just take off. You know,
you deserve it, Rob. You deserve it.
That's the ultimate plan, you know. So Michelle over there shaking her head. She said, "No, sir, that will not work." So we want to welcome you in. A great show lined up today as we get started. Hey, do us a favor. A lot of you are engaging with us on social media, and we so appreciate that. If you're out there this morning, send us a comment. Let us know that you're there. And do us a huge favor and share this broadcast. We're live on multiple platforms across LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, and many other platforms. So wherever you may be joining us this morning, maybe on the Spirit Radio app as well. I know folks there hearing the audio, but just let us know that you're out there today and what you're up to today. You know, this show is all about encouraging and lifting up our community and those in it, and it's always a fun here on our Thankful Thursday with Pastor Jason Bay. Jason, we were talking just a few moments ago before we went on about, man, it has just been a lot going on this week. I was down in the Woodlands at a conference the past 2 days, and you know, we had a great service for a wonderful lady here at First. Maybe just kind of dig in this morning. Let us know what you've been up to, if you don't mind.
It's been a crazy week. Well, the past couple of weeks, we've been so busy running here and there. I haven't even felt like I've seen you, just passing each other in the hallways or passing by the studio here. We did yesterday. We had a funeral service down in Houston and drove down there. Had a friend drive me down there, which was nice. And we've been just going every direction. Then last night we come back and we had a great service here last night for our Wednesday Night Live group. Record number of kids come in. Deborah was so excited. But when I hit the pillow last night about 8:30, I went to sleep and didn't get back up till this morning and came on in. So I haven't had a chance to look at hardly anything this morning or yesterday. But it's been a great couple of days. It's good to be busy. And I know you had taken the time to get out of town and go to a conference on media and things such as that. And tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, first I wanted to mention I apologize. Last night I got back yesterday. We bathed the kiddos, put them to sleep, and then I turned around and looked at Bridget and I said, I completely forgot about Wednesday Night Live.
I'm glad you did.
I forgot all about it last night.
You needed a break. We did miss you though. Kim said, I don't know where the Bridget and Rob's kids were in the nursery. I didn't see them, and I was like, well, they probably needed. I know Rob's you've been so busy going everywhere.
That's why there was a record number here yesterday, because we didn't show up. So
if y'all would have showed up, we would have hit 50.
Yeah, so, next week I won't be here as well. We'll see if the number increases even more. No, it was fun. We were down in the Woodlands. Pastor Kerry Shook down there, great family. Got to meet Kerry and his staff, and we just spent 2 days, man, just learning more about production, and it's really cool. There was a guy there named Dave Evans. Dave was the former producer at Fox Sports and Bally, and with the Dallas Mavericks, and he's actually on staff at a church now called Cottonwood up in Allen, Texas. And he was in that industry in the sports world for 30 something, almost 40 years, and it was kind of neat to see his path, and we were talking about that. And so there's a lot of things that he learned when he was on the production side at Fox Sports and kind of directing and being one of those executive directors over some of those programs. And he implemented a lot of strategies there at this church in Allen, and it's a fairly large church, but there's a lot of takeaways from that I'll definitely utilize here. But then other things, when we're producing events and doing cinematography and photos, I mean, I know like 0.005%. You think just a little bit, and then you go around these guys that have been in the industry for so long, and I mean, your head is just filled with information, and it was great to be around a lot of really awesome guys. One guy, we took 2 classes in cinematography, and it was really cool. One of the guys that was there is really big on documentaries and interviews.
Oh, cool.
And the lighting techniques that he used, I'd never seen before, something called bookshelf lighting. And what they do is they take basically 2 filters, bounce it off the wall, and it comes back, and it creates a very soft glow on the person you're interviewing. And one of the interviews he had was with the high school football coach at their church. And it was really neat to see this interview because he goes, a coach is supposed to look kind of tough, like, they're in charge, there's some authority there. He goes, man, when we hit this light on him, it made him look soft. And he said, we cannot do this. And he showed the technique of how to bring out just the characteristics and the quality of that set was so awesome, and to bring out the character of that coach for who he truly was, to be authentic. It was really neat. So there's a lot of techniques we learned. This guy, by the way, is named Josh Etheridge, and became a very well-known cinematographer in the wedding industry.
Oh, wow.
And he did that for a while, and then somehow got into documentaries, and he has been in Ukraine filming documentaries, obviously with the war going on. And he brought up some really interesting things that you would have never thought about. They have wireless mics on these guys that are out there, and they were with some of the guys serving in the Ukraine military. And he said, we have to think about another country intercepting these signals on this wireless. So we went with this company on the wireless transmission equipment so that Russia couldn't intercept these guys talking on these microphones. And I would have never thought about anything like that. So not only is this guy, very you just think of the talents that he has, and very artistic, but he also has the knowledge to know how to protect others in the middle of shooting video. I would have never thought about, hey, this wireless equipment, what if someone intercepts it?
Yeah, really.
So
that's so cool. I think that I appreciate you because in your line of work, one of the things I think we all have to do in our line of work is continue to try to get better at what we're doing. And learning is a lifetime skill, to be able to realize, hey, you don't know it all. There's more to learn, and there's more that you can learn about making whatever you're doing better. We learned that, during COVID here at the church, not very many of us here knew a lot about live streaming, about putting our content out there. But I think every church realized the importance of media and the importance of being able to get the message outside the walls of your church, but not only get the message out, make sure the message is quality, because people will turn on. You can look at your service on Sunday, pop it on live stream or on Facebook or wherever you're posting it, And you can immediately tell the quality, and it gives it a totally different feel when you're watching it, and someone that knows what they're doing and can work with lighting, but not just lighting, videography, like you're talking about, certain angles that you film things at, all those things make such a big difference in the way that the message is received. And like you said, with the coach, you put lighting a certain way and it gives a certain feel. You change the lighting up and it gives it a totally different feel. It's amazing how important those little elements are in that field, but it's in every field. To be able to say, I want to get better. That's why I think these conferences and stuff like this is so important. I love going to them too. I don't get a chance to go to them, but you have to make room to go to them because there's always more to learn in your field. And when you come back from those, I remember going to pastors' conferences and things like that. You come back and you're so excited. You got all these things that in your mind. It's so important to unpack those things and say, okay, man, how can I apply this and put this at work in what I'm doing today? And so I'm thankful that you got a chance to go to that. And not only that you're going to take what you've learned and apply it. I
think a lot of, I joke around saying my getting to know Jesus days, I went to some of those conferences and one of them was in Vegas and it was, you go to learn stuff, but then this whole other world comes in on you.
You learned a lot.
you learned a lot, yeah. So, now to say sometimes those conferences are a lot of fun though, and met a lot of good people there as well, but we had several back in my day when I had the IT business. We went down with a couple of our vendors, and those were pretty fun though. You learned a lot, and things that I even learned there that I took away. And working in the car industry, I think I said this on the show the other day, Jason. Maybe this is the inspiration this morning that every day we try to find something that we can inspire people with. And I want to encourage you today that every person that you meet in life. You're going to be open to learning something.
Yeah.
Even if it's someone that maybe you just don't mesh with or you feel like maybe you don't get along with, there's still something that you can learn through that process. And, I'm very thankful to a guy named Mike Stevens that I met at Don Hewlett Chevrolet in Georgetown, in the transition period of when I had the IT business and sold it, and I was really wanting to pursue broadcasting more but I was kind of in that limbo area. And Mike said, hey, come on and sell cars for us. And I said, man, I'm not going to sell cars. That's just not my thing. And he was the public address announcer in Georgetown, been there for many, many years after a great guy named Dennis Solomon. And Mike had been there, and they called him Malibu Mike. He knew everything about the Chevy Malibu. In fact, won awards from Chevy Corporate for knowing everything about the Malibu, man, back in the day. But Mike taught me a lot about sales. And the one biggest thing that I learned from him, and he told me he just recently retired from Hewlett after so many years now, but he had told me, he said, sell the appointment, don't sell the car. And that stuck with me. When you get on the phone, so many salespeople try to sell a product right away. What you're trying to do is sell the appointment to get to meet them in person. There's power when people meet in person.
Yeah.
And so that's one thing that he taught me that I was very adamant on. When people would call and they'd start, well, how much does this cost? And what is this? I would say, hey, I'd love to go over all that with you. But I was transparent too. I said, look, this isn't some sort of sales psychology I'm trying to put on you. I said, I want you to come in and meet me so we can talk in person. And I think when I mentioned this isn't some sort of sales tactic, I guess really it was, but it was more of just that genuine, hey, I want to sit down and get to know you and talk to you. And that was one thing that Mike had taught me. And I still use that even today, not even just in the sales world, but just when you meet people, sell the appointment, meet people, get to know them where they're at. And maybe that's where you're at this morning. There's somebody in your life that you just need to sit down and talk to. And, this whole thing now we're still, I hate to sit here and say and ramble on the same horn, but we're coming off of 3 years still coming out of COVID. There's still a lot of industries that are reemerging now. There's been a lot of positives from that. You talk about live streaming, but there's also been some negatives, and the negatives are we've gotten away from meeting people in person. Just a couple days ago, the new Amazon CEO said, hey, it's time for our employees to get back to work in office. A lot of them are working from home, so they've now required them to start coming back into the office.
Yeah, there's something about just being in the presence of somebody and being able to share and body language and just talking to somebody is so important face to face. And same way with church. And Paul said, "Don't forsake meeting together." And I think that there's a great value in that. But like what you said about learning, I was thinking about how there's something we can learn from everybody. And raising kids, I think that is that's a vital lesson that you'll learn to
Can I
teach your
joke?
kids.
Can I joke and say you probably don't like this, but can I joke and say you've had 10 opportunities to learn, Jason?
Well, what I was going to say is, the kids all are in different sports, and you know, and you'll go through this when they get involved in different things. But the moment that you become unteachable is the moment you stop learning, and the moment you stop getting better. I always tell my kids that, because there's something you can learn. Sports has such a correlation to life, you know, just the things you learn working with a team, working the joy of victory and the agony of defeat, as they say, you know, all that's a learning process. And the moment that you stop learning, the moment you stop getting better. And I teach my kids that all the time, because they get frustrated with the coach, or they get frustrated with their teammates, or they get frustrated with anything. No, be humble. Be willing to learn from the moment, and you'll get better. You'll get better from it. And I think that's like you said, the kind of the motivational moment this morning is be willing to be teachable. Be willing to learn something new every day, and from somebody new.
You know, learning that process and just the agony of defeat. 27 years in the running now with the Dallas Cowboys. I'm still.
Did you watch that game?
No, I turned it off.
Maybe 28.
Turned it off halfway through. But I won my fantasy the other day by 0.16 points. It was crazy, but yeah, I was asking. I had the opportunity to meet Babe Laufenberg a few years ago.
Oh, yeah.
He's the analyst with Brad
Yeah.
Sham. Great guys, and I just asked Babe one time. I said, "Man, how do you do it?" He goes, "I'm just passionate, my friend. I'm just passionate, you know, about what he does." So one day, Jason, we'll be back to that glory field. It's going to happen.
I think so.
Well, hey, we got a great show lined up today. We want to welcome you in. We have a wonderful guest we'll formally introduce here in just a few moments. As we get started, though, big shout out to Paul Oley, the gallery. Paul, we love you, man. Appreciate you, Paul Oley, the gallery, for all of your custom framing and photography. Go see my good friend Paul Oley at the gallery. Also, our friend Elliot Herzlich of Elliot's Jewelers, and online at elliotsjewelers.com. Elliot has been so instrumental in this community, giving back to so many organizations. We talked a lot about CASA, our friends from CASA of Walker, San Jacinto, and Trinity counties. But, man, Elliot has been so gracious, donated 20 of these beautiful diamond necklaces, also a pair of matching diamond earrings. And we have these right now as a benefit for Care Center Huntsville. Jackie Barham and the staff there do such a wonderful job helping women who are trying to navigate that life of pregnancy and having the baby. You know what Elliot said? I want to be a part of this. I want to help them out. And so for a suggested donation of only $100, you know, we had someone give more. But if today maybe you've been in the doghouse and you said, you know what, I need to buy my significant, I need to get her some diamonds. Right here, we've got them, a diamond earrings, a diamond pendant, suggested donation of $100. And these are retailed, but there's a tag on these that are retailed at $319.
Golly.
So we've got 20 of these. They are locked up in a safe in a hidden location here, you know, down the street. Who knows, Jason, where they're at, but we've got them.
Great.
And great opportunity to give back.
Opportunity.
Every dime goes to Care Center.
Great value. And like you said, man, a great opportunity to help out a great organization in our community.
All right. Well, hey, we're going to take our first break. We do have a very special guest here joining us. Of course, our Thankful Thursday is always brought to you here by First Baptist. Our first guest that we're going to have on this morning is someone that is over 4 decades of committed excellence to a program. And when we talked earlier about, you know, just of winning, this is someone who has championed winning, not only on the field but off the field as well. We're excited to have our good friend joining us here in just a few moments, Athletic Director at Sam Houston State University, Bobby Williams, has been a friend to many in this community, and we're excited to talk to him. So we'll have Bobby on here in just a few minutes. Staying kind of aligned with that sports theme, our friend Joe Reed over at Advancement Office has hooked us up with some more tickets to give away, and we've got 2 seatback tickets also. Maybe you don't have the championship socks or the championship football from whenever Sam Houston defeated SDSU. Well, Joe has hooked us up with some items, and we're going to include that as a prize pack. And all you've got to do is text in the keyword CATS, K-A-T-S, on the 0 Degree Creations phone and text line to 936-339-0139. Again, that number is 936-339-0139. 0139, and we're going to hook somebody up at the end of this week. So if you've been texting in all week, you can text in once per day, and your chance to win. By the way, we're looking forward to that, Jason. So, we'll hook somebody up with that
Cats.
today. So Cats with the K. Text that in along with your name, again, on the Zero Degree Creations phone and text line at 936-339-0139. As always, our Thankful Thursday is brought to you by First Baptist. More information online at fbchuntsville.org. Friends, we got a great show. Stay with us. Let us know that you're out there, what you're thankful for today as we continue celebrating all the great things happening here in our community. We'll take a break. This is your show. It's Good Morning Huntsville. Stay with us.
Hey, I'm Denise Olivas, Business Account Specialist at Walker County Federal Credit Union. One of the best things I hear from our members is how they love being treated like they're important, like their family. Sure, our members love things like low rates on loans too, but combine that with the friendliest and most helpful service in town, and you've got Walker County Federal, taking care of our members. It's what we do. We are Walker County Federal Credit Union, member NCUA. Hey, I'm Denise Olivas, Business Account Specialist.
Illuminate your child's future at Tomorrow's Promise Montessori Schools in Huntsville. Established in 1997 by Kay Boning, our award-winning center merges Christian values with 25 years of Montessori excellence, promoting wonder and discovery in every child. As the only Montessori school within 45 miles, we provide a fun and friendly environment, individualized Montessori methods, and love and care as if each child were our own. Safety is a priority, and with a recent $50,000 investment, our facilities inspire growth, creativity, and learning. Plus, as a nonprofit, we open Montessori doors to families of all economic backgrounds. Partner with the community pillar where every child's promise shines bright. Discover Tomorrow's Promise Montessori Schools today. Visit tpms.life. That's tpms.life. The Oak Ridge Disciple House is a faith-based 501c3 nonprofit Christian character building ministry helping men 18 and older who are suffering from drug and alcohol addictions. If you or someone you know needs help, there is light at the end of the tunnel, and that light can be found through the Oak Ridge Disciple House. For more information, visit oakridgedisciplehouse.com.
Welcome to Magnolia Kennel of Huntsville, where we've been caring for your furry family members for over 4 decades. Nestled at 877 IH 45 South, our kennel is a perfect retreat for your pet. With a climate-controlled facility, spacious exercise yards, we ensure a comfortable and enjoyable stay. At Magnolia Kennel, we offer a range of options including overnight boarding, extended stay boarding, and doggy day out. But that's not all. We also provide additional pampering services like baths and nail care to keep your pets looking and feeling their best. Making a reservation is a breeze at magnoliakennel.com. We take great pride in our dedication to the community, supporting our local fire departments by providing oxygen pet masks. Stay connected and enjoy adorable pet updates by following us on Facebook. Magnolia Kennel of Huntsville is where dogs get to be dogs. Visit us at magnoliakennel.com to book your pet's next stay. We can't wait to meet your 4-legged family members.
This is Guardian Defense in Huntsville, Texas, a trusted family-owned and operated gun store and range in the heart of East Texas. Guardian Defense is your one-stop destination for Texas LTC, NRA basic pistol and rifle courses, pistol refresher training, as well as a wide selection of quality firearms and ammunition. At Guardian Defense, empowerment is within reach through their Texas DPS-approved license to carry classes. Certified instructors will guide you through every facet of firearm safety, conflict resolution, and the pertinent legal aspects. Book now to become proficient and responsible in handling a firearm with complete confidence. For the eager learners, the fundamentals of pistol and rifle usage await discovery in their comprehensive 8-hour NRA basic courses. You're invited to connect with Guardian Defense on Facebook and Instagram, or give them a call at 936-293-0364. You can also visit them online at guardiandefensellc.com. Guardian Defense, your reliable partner in mastering firearm safety and acquiring quality firearms in the heart of Texas. This is KHSP-LP, Huntsville, Texas, the spirit of Huntsville. Support for SpiritRadio.fm comes from loyal listeners just like you. Want to help spread the good news across Huntsville and beyond? Underwriting opportunities are available for loyal listeners, businesses, and nonprofits. Visit SpiritRadio.fm and tap Donate today.
All right, friends, welcome back as we continue on this morning. Another edition of Good Morning Huntsville right before the 8 a.m. hour. Waking up a little fog this morning, 77 degrees. Jason, how about that 100% humidity? Boy, isn't it nice? You know,
I love it.
A little 100%, so you may want to take a butter knife out as you walk to the front door this morning. It's going to get up into the mid-90s here later today, but we've got sunny skies. Things will remain a little bit warm, and we'll have a major cool down over the weekend. How about the low 90s? We'll call that a major cool down here. We're excited to be back on with you this morning. Hey, a lot of comments are coming in this morning. Continue to let us know that you're out there as we celebrate all things good happening here in our community and throughout Huntsville, Texas. We don't have our special, we always have this special prize that we bring to guests, and I just haven't moved it over yet from our old studio. The good news is we don't have to put in the call to TDCJ, but we had a little horn that we usually announce people with. Bobby, I'm so sorry. We do not have the horn for you today, but welcome in, Bobby Williams.
Bet. Good to see you as always.
Good to see you.
You're talking about humidity. I had to turn the AC off in my truck because the windows were fogging up as I was driving in.
And then if you keep it on the whole way in, the wipers are going, right? So, well, Bobby is the athletic director at Sam Houston State University, entering his 43rd year. Boy, you talk about just a legacy of success. And Bobby, one thing that I've always admired about you, it's not just on the field, it's the things that you do off the field. And we're going to talk a lot about that today. Wanted to highlight your success and the great things. And I think it's going to be an inspiration. We always lift people up on the show and encourage them. And I think today is going to be a really inspirational moment for some folks out there when they hear your story and kind of your journey. Kind of leading into that, let us know a little bit about the Bobby Williams story. I know you played some ball down at Rice along with your dad, but let us know a little bit about the journey, Bobby.
Yeah, I was always destined, I think, to be in athletics just because of my dad. And my mom was very supportive as well of that, being a wonderful coach's wife. And she worked at Dow Chemical for a long time. But, my dad played on the last Cotton Bowl team at Rice in 1957. So I grew up, I even, when we played Rice a couple of weeks ago, I had a picture that was in my parents' house. It was the A&M game in 1957. A&M was number one. Rice was, I think, about seventh. Rice beat them that day 7-6. And it's a picture of my dad and the defense of Rice, and offense and defense are coming together. But you can see Rice Stadium's packed, and you can see the A&M sideline on the visitor side. And you enlarge it, and it's got Bear Bryant. Bear Bryant standing on the sideline. So that's what I grew up, seeing and hearing about. Of course, then I had the opportunity to go to Rice and play football there. Earned a scholarship, walked on. Coach Auburn, my coach, was a teammate of my dad's at Rice. And so it was kind of that part of it was a great experience for me. What I always tell people is they don't realize that I came to Sam Houston right out of high school. And I've told this at alumni events as well, that I came to Sam Houston, tried to come out for the football team, didn't give me the time of day. Then I stayed here 2 years and did not have a very good experience here at Sam. And so I was able, with Coach Auburn, get me to come walk on and get me in school, so to speak, and had a great experience there. But I joked that the last place I ever wanted to come back to was Sam Houston or Huntsville, because I'd go up to Dallas and I'd drive through College Station because that's how bad of an experience I had. Well, next thing I know, I stayed and got my master's at Rice. Wanted to coach in college. I've always loved the college atmosphere. And a man by the name of Ron Randleman had just gotten the job here at Sam Houston. And so I came and interviewed and almost didn't take the job when he offered it to me, just because of the experience I had here. And now, 43 years later, I'm still here. Met my wife here, Janet. And the interesting part, y'all were talking about relationships earlier and the connections. One of my high school coaches was a cousin of my wife, Janet. The head baseball coach at that time, Doug Osborne, was at Rice, was her cousin. Her uncle was really close friends with two of my Rice coaches, and also played with them at McMurray under Grant Taft. So, I knew Coach Taft and that type of thing through my dad. But I remember meeting Janet here, and then we started dating. I go to a family reunion. I walk in, and all those guys are there, and I go, "What are you doing here?" But, her side of the family has 11 degrees from here, including our two daughters, Audrey and Alex. And, I always tell student athletes, and anybody that will listen, you never know when you come into a situation where you think it's the worst experience you've ever had and it's just not for you, how that could turn around and turn into 43 years of unbelievable blessings. And so that's a pretty cool story from my perspective.
Yeah.
Just because, I know how I was. I wanted to be here about 3 years and get out of here. And it's just been so great to work with the coaches, the presidents, the faculty, the student athletes that I've been blessed to be a part of.
Both my parents went to Sam Houston. I've been in this community for a long time. I went to Huntsville High School, and my sister went to Sam Houston. And boy, the university has changed a lot over the last 43 years. But one of the things that I've noticed just being a part of this community is you guys have taken that athletic program and turned it into something to really be proud of. The work that you guys have put in there, and the university as a whole, it's just become such a influential place in Texas. And boy, I was so excited to see Sam Houston, the accomplishments that they have made through your tenure has been just unbelievable. So I thank you for the work that you put in, and I know that requires sticking with it, for all those years through the goods and the bads, but being there, and it's been amazing to watch.
Well, I appreciate that. The interesting part is the 2 years I was here before I went to Rice really had a dramatic impact on me in how I approached coaching, how I recruiting student athletes, people. Of course, I had two great parents, my mom and dad, really, and I'm an only child, so I'm kind of spoiled. But it's interesting how all those influences come into play. And every day that I walked in, even when I didn't want to come back here in '82, when I walked in to coach football, I wanted to make it better. And I always have had that. I didn't want anybody to have experience like I did. And so that's the way it went. And then I'm very blessed with Ron Randleman, who was, I coached football for 10 years with him, and then moved into administration. And then in '97, I actually became his supervisor, so to speak, because I was the AD and he was still head football coach. So we've had an unbelievable relationship. But the interesting part about the success, I learned a lot from him, how he moved it. A lot of people don't remember this, but in '82 we were Division II. And then he began the move to Division I. And he's taken us through the move from Division II to Division I, and then basically 3 different conferences. Because we were in the Lone Star Conference, and then we moved to the Gulf Star, and then the Southland. And my career as AD has kind of paralleled that a little bit. We were in the Southland for such a long time. Then I was part of us moving to the Western Athletic Conference, and then the Conference USA opportunity came. And to move us from FCS to FBS, that was always kind of a dream, because the longer I was here and the environment here at Sam Houston, that I finally got to see how good the university was and how there was so much potential here. I wanted us, with our success, to be dominant wherever we were playing at, and we were fortunate to win all those all-sports trophies and play at the high level nationally in football and some other sports. But the key thing is that move to FBS changed who we are and how we view ourselves. I always kind of thought that would be the great part about that, and a lot of people didn't see that potential. But I'm glad we did, and I'm glad we moved forward. I think the biggest opportunity for us right now is when we moved back in the '80s with Coach Randleman. We moved athletically, but the university wasn't really ready and didn't support us in that. So we had some tough years. Now that's not the case. With the last 4 presidents that we've had that I've been able to work for as AD, each one of them have helped us move and take that step forward. And Dr. White's done a great job with that. She's been very, very supportive. And I even told her when Conference USA came in, she said, what's your recommendation? I said, well, it's not really my recommendation. You have to see where this move fits with your vision of the university. And it did. She embraced that part of it. And I also said we can't be on an island athletically. We've got to have the university support. And you see what she's doing with university advancement, IMC, just everything involved, from the support of the university and how everybody's embraced this move. And that's going to be the most important thing for us so that we can be successful.
Bobby, I wanted to highlight, I didn't want to skim over this. I wanted to highlight this because you mentioned something so critical, and I love how, you give Coach Randleman credit. In fact, when I came back, I ran into him at rodeo. We had a quick conversation over there while he was eating. But this is, I want folks to hear this. I mean, whenever you were coming out of high school, it was NAIA, but then your involvement from a staff standpoint, Division II, Division I, FCS, Division I, FBS. Bobby, I know you're a very humble man, but I don't know of many athletic directors that have been part of a program that has moved through all those transitions. And I think there's a lot to be said about that. And I think that just shows a lot of tremendous progress from you, your staff, the leadership, those above you, and those that work below you as well. Maybe highlight briefly just some of those challenges and how you get the buy-in, because I know when I first came here, I was talking to some alumni, and they were like, yeah, we didn't think that Division II was a good move back then, but now we see it.
I hear that a lot.
Yeah. So how does the buy-in work? I mean, it's obviously winning always helps, but there's so much more to it than that.
Well, you got to have great people around you, and I know that sounds so cliche and everybody says it, but this is true. Somebody like Chris Thompson, we've been working together for a long time. And when she got out of tennis and I was still assistant AD, we started working together administratively. And then when I moved to athletic director, she became the senior associate AD. And so you've got to have someone like that who also has that Sam Houston background, cares about it, cares about students, and cares about people. And that's a big part of it, because we're not a destination for coaches in a lot of ways. You've seen a lot of the coaches that have moved on, and I know everybody says, we got to keep them. Well, we got to keep building to some point where we can – so people want to stay, like I have and like Chris has and others as well. And Coach Randleman did the same thing. But it's important that we're always hiring good quality people so they can recruit good quality student athletes. And people have asked me how you do that. Well, one of the things is I've been blessed to be around here long enough that I know the community. I know Sam Houston, so I know – I mean, for example, Coach Saban could come in out of retirement and want to come coach here, okay? It may not work. I don't care how great a coach you are, it may not work. We have a great quality environment here that some coaches just don't fit. That's not a negative to them. It's not a negative to us. So you've really got to find that. I've been very blessed that coaches have come in and won. The interesting part about our job, especially my job, is it is about the relationships. It's about those connections, and that's the most important thing. But we also have to win in order to stay around to do that. And we've been very blessed to do that. I remember when I took over as athletic director in 97, Ronnie Choate, he helped me when he was the AD in a great situation of allowing me to do things so that it prepared me when he retired, then I could step in, and I had a great opportunity to do that. But the challenge always is making sure that you're treating people the right way, creating an environment. And I think even now with the transfer portal, we're keeping good quality student athletes and we're recruiting them because of the culture here at SAM and because of the culture here in Huntsville. And I think that's extremely positive.
One of my favorite things to see, again, we're here with Bobby Williams, athletic director, Sam Houston State University. Bobby, one of my favorite things when you're cruising down 45 and I was just down in the Woodlands and I just saw Bearcat logos all over the place on the cars. I was down in Galveston, of all places, and you go through Galveston. We're another 30 minutes down the highway right there on the Gulf Coast line. We're at the beach. I see this guy roll up in this. I mean, this thing was just decked out golf cart. It was Bearcats all over it. And I went up and started talking to the guy, and it turned out we had kind of known each other through a roundabout way. It seems like everywhere you go through this area, just that recognition is starting to get more and more and more. It's easy to go back and say, man, that championship in 2020, 2021 was, a huge highlight in your career. I know there was a lot of work that went into that. It was just a really exciting time for Sam Houston, but I think the best is still on the way with this move to FBS. Can you highlight maybe one or two times outside of the national championship? Because that's an easy one. One or two times that you've just said, man, this has been incredible. Something that you've seen happen or something that you've experienced that just really brings you a lot of joy.
Well, two things come to mind. You talked about the logos on cars and everything like that. That I remember, first 10 years, you go recruiting and you drive everywhere and you'd never see anything Sam Houston, just right here, even in town sometimes. But now you see that, and that's an emotional positive for me from that standpoint. And it's really neat that you can see that. The other thing that was really a defining moment for me was the Montana semifinal game back in 2011. They had always they were like North Dakota State. They'd always beaten us in the playoffs, and the only time we had beaten them in Huntsville was that 2004 year when we played them in September. But the 2011, we're sitting there, clock's coming down. We're trying to, run the clock out, trying to make a first down to end the game. And so you're really tense and trying to, this is going to happen or not, whatever. But then I heard Sam Houston.
Oh, yeah.
And that was the first time that had ever happened at a game, because I'd seen all the games for the last, how many years. But I had tears in my eyes because number one, we're going to the championship game, finally. The other thing is our fans were embracing that environment. And, the stadium was packed. It was unbelievable. And now, we go to Florida State for the regional in baseball, and they're doing it in Tallahassee. And everywhere you go, you hear that Sam Houston. So that's really special when you have some of those moments. The other thing, I think, is when I took over as athletic director, we had never finished higher than 9th place out of 12 schools in the All-Sports Trophy, the Commissioner's Cup. And that was the first thing I said we had to do. And I had some people telling me, well, what's that? They really didn't see the point of it. Well, the point was to get everybody, all of our 17 sports, competing, encouraging each other, and trying to be successful. And it took us 7 years to do it. And I remember I always give Tom Waddell a hard time when he was at the item. At year 7 that summer, he said, well, Bobby Williams promised Commissioner's Cups, but it's year 7. Well, luckily, we won it that year, and then we won 12 or 20, whatever it is, and we won more than anybody. So I always give him credit for lighting the fire, so to speak. But we've known each other forever, so it's just a really good relationship. And so it's kind of fun to do that. And when we won it, then when we finally won the national championship, I remember I had a couple of local friends that said, now we get the Commissioner's Cup. Because they were the ones that were highly vocal. That doesn't make any difference. No, but it did, because we were encouraging. Other sports kept stepping up. And, of course, the FCS National Championship, when I realized when I got here, because when I played at Rice, didn't know about that playoff system. But then coaching in it and then competing in it and wanting to do it, that was pretty special for me from that perspective. It was just really neat to win it. Coach Keeler, they did such a great job because we didn't even have a locker room at that time. And, it's just it's the pandemic and everything, that playing 17 sports in one spring. Yeah, wow. It was crazy. But to win that was really very, very, emotional and positive for me. So those are some moments. The interesting part about now, that the move to FBS, that is so interesting, because a lot of us, when we won that national championship, and we went to the Super Regional, we've been to the NCAA tournament, a lot of our fans, alumni, students thought we were still Division II, even though we'd been for so long. But the move to FBS has changed that. And people now, I think, even with us being 2-1 now, and the Rice winning 3 of the last 4 last year, I'm starting to hear the same thing you mentioned is, oh, wow, yeah, we can do this.
Yeah, that's right.
Now I get it. And I think we're receiving more visibility. Heck, we're in EA Sports now, where if we were in FCS, we wouldn't be.
Sure, yeah.
So those are some of the positives, that trying to convince people every day, even on your staff, even student and athletes, not only the community, but everybody in that aspect, of why this is important, why are we trying to do this. And even though we don't have the funding right now or some things, the facilities, that's going to come. and how we keep moving forward. So that's my biggest challenge in everything that I've always tried to do. And I've been very fortunate that the 4 presidents I work for have been very supportive of that. And so,
Bobby, I got to ask you, did you buy a PlayStation 5 and get Madden?
No, I had my I had that little PSP. I had that back in the day. So I'm gonna have to get it. I guess when I retire, I have a little bit more time, so I'll be able to play some of that.
I think this would make great video to have Bobby Williams playing.
What is it, Dynasty mode or whatever, something like that?
We need to get you on there with some of the players, head to head. So that'd be kind of fun. Well, Bobby, we've got a little bit more time here, if you don't mind. I have a couple of other questions. Some things that were just kind of running through my mind when you were speaking. I love that you mentioned the other sports. Football, the reality is football is usually the train that it's the conductor for the athletic program. And a lot of people say if the football program's doing well, then you kind of see that sprinkled down. But we've seen so much success in so many other sports. I love how the work, another person who's been there for a long time is Jason Barfield, and he's done an incredible job with the media and really getting the word out through the media side of things.
Right.
And I loved his passion for the bowling team, and they've brought home some national championships.
Exactly.
I mean, you think about a bowling program in college that's been really well. When you said all 17 sports, I love that because, you want success for all sports, not just football, but for everybody.
It was funny. My wife, Janet, and she got to go when the bowling team was in Detroit this year in the Final Four. So she got to go and really see what was going on. And she's all in, fired up. And, of course, they gave her some swag, which that always helps, And so now she's giving the other coaches in other sports a hard time because bowling, Coach Hagan's taking care of me from that standpoint. But, that was really, really neat when they won the national championship. But Brad, I'll tell you a story about Brad. It's funny. When we were adding bowling and we were interviewing potential coaches, and he comes in, and Willie Fritz, who's was our head football coach, is now at U of H. Willie was in with me, and we were just talking to Brad, and Brad was very confident in his ability, which is really good because you want coaches that know they're good and feel like they're good. But he promised us that he would win a national championship the first year. Well, he won it in year 4. I always keep reminding him. Matter of fact, when they brought the trophy back, we're at baseball, and everybody's coming around. Brad and I sitting there taking a picture with it, and I just kind of smiled and whispered, and I said, "Yeah, it's 4 years too late." I didn't say that. So, but no, I think that's the environment we want to create with our coaches, and it's a tough enough job it is for coaches, families, student athletes, all of us. You got to have some fun too, and you got to enjoy it.
Whenever, like I mentioned earlier, driving around town, and you mentioned bumper stickers, from my time being here in Huntsville, which has been a long time, like yours, I've noticed that transition too, that transition from a university that really was kind of isolated from the community to now a community and a university that's really merged together.
Yeah.
I know that is part of the culture that you guys wanted to create there, but you mentioned about culture as far as your coaches go, as far as your students go. What are some things that you look at when you're trying to develop that culture, and what makes the culture at Sam Houston unique, would you say?
I think it's the way they approach things, how they go about caring about your teammate, caring about other people. You'll see that during the recruiting process.
Yeah.
There's a lot of egos, sometimes too many egos in college athletics, in athletics in general. One of the things I've always tried to do is check my ego. I'm an only child. I'm an athlete. It's not like I don't have an ego. But when I'm working with people, that can't be the issue because I've got to be a problem solver in so many different ways. And we've got to find out also to break down that barrier to see if they will fit here. And I think that's important. If parents come in and they're a little overbearing, that type of thing, but the kid seems to be, student athlete seems to be really, really embracing who we are. And once you get into that cycle, then other student athletes, you can talk to them. And I'm very real and open with our student athletes. I meet with our student athlete advisory committee, and it's hard to say what exactly you're looking for other than when you look at me as a student athlete, you get This is who I am. I'm
See
like
what you
this
get.
every day. And you've got to walk that talk, and you got to be who you are. And and you can lead people. I mean, our coaches, sometimes I got to coach them up, and sometimes they got to coach me up too as well. And it's the same thing with student athletes. One of the positive things I love, and some people don't like this, but I love it. Student athletes, when I walk in because I'm in the locker room, I'm in the dugout, I'm on the sideline, and I want them to know that I care and that how much this place means to me. And I tell them my experience here, and so try to make that real from that perspective. But I can walk down the hallway, or I can be at a game, and the players will go, Bobby! And the first time it happened, it happened in a locker room after a game, and we were all doing this, and they went, Bobby! So I just kind of laughed. But then it became now, it's kind of like every student athlete that comes through here, especially the new ones, go, you call him Bobby? I said, that's cool, man, let's go. And then it just becomes so natural. And that makes you feel good.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the kind of environment that you can't just say, I'm going to write a book about, and what are you looking for? It's be who you are, and people have got to see that. You've got to reveal that to them, and be consistent in how you approach them too as well.
That's that culture that you're building there. And I want to tell you a little story about how I experienced the culture. I had a member here that was he's passed away now, but he loved Sam Houston. He went to Sam Houston. He was a great supporter of the university, season tickets, the whole 9 yards. Mm-hmm. And after they won the national championship, he's like, you know what? He's like, he came to me, he said, I want to invite the football team to come to church. And I thought, well, go ahead. His name was Tom. Like, go for it. Ask him. I thought to myself, there's no way that they're going to come to church. Oh. And that Sunday, the whole middle section, the whole football team, and the coach, they were all there, dressed out. And I want to tell you, you could see and feel that family atmosphere that you're talking about. And that culture, it permeates that program, just that they care for one another. And you could tell it was a great feeling I had that Sunday to see. I mean, right after they won the national championship, I mean, they could have went anywhere or done anything, and they came here. So I appreciate that culture you're building into those guys. That community matters.
That's why some of the pews, Bobby, are still broken, because those big boys, big boys are in there.
So, there's good and bad sometimes. But, I think that's a great point is we've got so many. I think the longevity helps with that, too. Consistent of how you go about talking about how we need to be and how we need to handle things. And I knew you were exactly right. When I first got here, I mean, we're up on the old practice field at Pritchett, and we're new football staff, and the elementary school buses would let out, and they'd be, Bearcats are terrible, yelling out the buses. And we had to change that. And winning helps, of course, but we also had to show this community who we are. And that we are good people, and that we do want to do it right, and we want to create a positive environment for students. And in the growth of the university. Yeah. I mean, that's when Dr. Gatner came in and changed fundraising, and then we started building facilities and recruiting, and so many people like, Dr. Hoyt and Heather Tillman and Frank Parker and all the many people that came through, and then Dr. White's continuing that in our president's cabinet now. It's probably one of the best we've been around now, with all the good quality people that have some great vision and trying to keep expanding it, but doing it the right way. And what is the right way? Well, it's being respectful. It's being involved in the community. That family thing is so cliche, but that's what you want to be, and so that students want to stay here.
I just, I say it's so simple in Huntsville, and it may sound a little bit corny, but I said Huntsville's this area, all throughout here, from here down to the Woodlands. It's an area that you can hug someone and tell them you love them, and people don't, man, what's that guy doing? You just love on people, and that's what you guys do so well, is just being there. Bobby, I know you got to get rolling here in a moment. I do want to show something, if this is okay. I was digging through the Bobby Williams Twitter, And I found a couple of photos that I had to show here. I believe is that an Ife right there?
Yeah, that's at the Piney Woods game.
So walk us through this. This is Coach. This is Bobby Williams. Were they going Bobby on the sideline there?
Well, Ife, and I've been blessed with a lot of student athletes in every sport, having some of those moments that you get close to, and I always seem to be in the right spot for when he scores or something, and we always embrace and that type of thing. Of course, I got mad at him at the Rice game because he made such a great catch, and I'm standing there. Next thing you know, he's all over here doing his new whatever. And so I told him, I said, don't big time me like that anymore. Okay, we can't have that happen. But that's what that's real for me because that's who I am. I love the passion of the game. I love winning. I love being there for them. That one in the locker room, that was pretty special because we go back to Rice with my dad there, me playing there, and I can be a Rice Owl fan now, but that night I was a Bearcat all the way, and they gave me the game ball, and it meant a lot to me, and so those are the, being an athletic director is not that fun. It's kind of hard. It's you deal with some stuff that you don't want to deal with, but when you have those moments like that, which I've been very blessed to have. That's what makes it worthwhile.
That looks like a Time magazine cover there on the right side, Bobby. But they're going to do the life of Bobby Williams, 100 years from now, and that's going to be the cover of it. So,
I love that picture because it says so much. That it speaks volumes about who you are as a person, the passion. I love that passion that it shows there, and I know you can look it back, and it takes you right back to that time.
Yeah. Did Jason take this photo?
The Barfield is in the Ife. He's right next to me.
Okay, yeah,
he's there, but I don't know who took that one. Either one of those yet from there. But
those are nice.
The best part about it too, people don't realize is, I think you know when you're on the right track is when the coaches are comfortable with you being in there, the student athletes, the trainers, the support staff, when they're comfortable with you doing that. That tells you a lot that you're on the right track as a leader, I think. And I'm very blessed that they allow me to do it. I know when sometimes I get a new coach comes in, they're like, what's the AD doing down here? What's he checking on me? No, I'm here to support. We want to win and we want to be successful, but we want to do it the right way.
Right, Bobby, I've enjoyed it today. I did have one last thing. We go back, and this year, 2-1 now in the football program, just off to a wonderful start, get that huge win. Versus Rice, and then you go a couple of games. Houston, boy, what a great turnout, and I know that you guys are working on the logistics for that. But I was talking to somebody, and I said, what an incredible sight on this past Saturday night. I'm up here. I had to MC an event. I would have been at the game if I didn't have to MC that event. I'm enjoying just being a fan now. My buddy Ed Wanta when I go, and it's just cool to sit there and be there. But I had to MC an event. I come back here to church. I was working on a project. I look out the window and I see the drone show, and I said, man, this is incredible.
That was pretty cool.
Maybe mention that crowd and just how, from an athletic director standpoint, that's just got to be such an incredible sense of accomplishment, seeing all of these folks come together. And on top of that, a huge win versus a really good team out of Hawaii.
I've seen because I've been in Bowers longer than anybody. So I've seen all the games at Bowers. The Alcorn State game, the ABC, we played on ABC with Steve McNair. That's the largest, biggest event that we've had at that stadium. The Hornets had another one against Waco. They opened up, I believe, in 91, and that game was unbelievable, too, as well. Then the Montana game in 2011. But the other night, that was a little different in so many different ways. In 11, we were trying to figure it out. I think everybody was trying to figure out who we were and trying to get the national championship. The Alcorn State game, that was about Steve McNair because he was up for the Heisman. That wasn't really about us. And the Hornet game, they were ranked number one, and that was a community type thing. It wasn't really something that Sam Houston had been able to experience. That the other night was. I mean, the energy that our fans brought, and we've had some other good events like that, but that was a different environment. I apologize. So sorry that we couldn't get people in the stands. Well, we had some logistic problems, especially with all of the new entities that are involved. But we're going to get better and keep doing that. But the fans, you couldn't even tell. I mean, they were still energized and still enjoying things. And that was very rewarding and appreciated that everybody embraced that.
It was cool being here at the church and being outside, and I could hear the fans. And, man, I wasn't even at the game. I was like, "Go Bearcats!" And, like, I'm sitting there staring at the corner of a building yelling for the Bearcats.
Well, that's another thing. Used to, I'd walk in my office, and even Coach Randleman did when he was at Pritchett. If we had big crowds, people were calling about the noise. At Bowers, the PA, the noise, the music, everything. I didn't get any calls this week.
That's great.
We're evolving and moving forward.
That's awesome. Well, Bobby, appreciate you so much.
You bet, thank you.
Thank you
Good
for all
seeing
that
you,
you
Good to see
do.
you, bet.
Bobby Williams with us today. Appreciate your friendship and all that you do for the university, for this community, and for so many young people's lives. I think that's the most important. You think about the young people, and not only on the field, but these young people are going on to excel in so many areas, and that's thanks to the leadership of our president, Dr. White, and, of course, Bobby Williams over athletics. Just so many great things. Folks, if you haven't, go to gobearcats.com, get your tickets, and come out and support these Cats. It's been an exciting time, and I always say this, and I believe this, that we're only limited by what is in between. My dad always said, you're only limited what's in between these two things, your ears, and that's your brain. And so I think positive, good things are on the way, and I always believe this, that the best is on the horizon.
That's right.
So come on out and be a part of it. Again, we appreciate Bobby, and we'll have to have you back on sometime.
That's great.
We'll step aside. We'll take a break. We do have that prize pack, by the way, and it includes some tickets to the game this Saturday versus New Mexico State. All you got to do is text in the keyword CATS. It's KATS on the 0 Degree Creations phone and text line. We got a prize pack coming your way. Text that in to 936-339-0139. We'll step aside, take a break. Jason may have some news you can use, and we got a few other things as we wrap it up here in just a few moments. Stay with us. It's your show as we continue here on a Thankful Thursday brought to you by First Baptist.
Welcome to Magnolia Kennel of Huntsville, where we've been caring for your furry family members for over 4 decades. Nestled at 877 IH 45 South, our kennel is a perfect retreat for your pet. With a climate-controlled facility, spacious exercise yards, we ensure a comfortable and enjoyable stay. At Magnolia Kennel, we offer a range of options including overnight boarding, extended stay boarding, and doggy day out. But that's not all. We also provide additional pampering services like baths and nail care to keep your pets looking and feeling their best. Making a reservation is a breeze at magnoliakennel.com. We take great pride in our dedication to the community, supporting our local fire departments by providing oxygen pet masks. Stay connected and enjoy adorable pet updates by following us on Facebook. Magnolia Kennel of Huntsville is where dogs get to be dogs. Visit us at magnoliakennel.com to book your pet's next stay. We can't wait to meet your 4-legged family members.
So, what's inside the mysterious little box?
Whoa, what box? Oh, that box over there.
You went to Elliot.
Wait, don't open it yet. Oh, and yes, I went to see Elliot's Jewelers just a couple of days ago.
Inside the box, is it golden?
Well, I was a little concerned about the price of gold because it's high, but Elliot really helped me find something beautiful and monetarily agreeable.
Oh, well, hey, can I open it now? Please?
Whoa, just a little longer. You have to at least wait until Christmas Day.
Oh, well, I can do that.
Elliot's Jewelers. Fine jewelry and engravable gifts. Schedule your appointment at elliotsjewelers.com. That's ELLIOTTS Jewelers.com.
Make sure there's something extra special inside the mysterious little box you give this season.
Hey, I'm Denise Olivas, Business Account Specialist at Walker County Federal Credit Union, and our business is helping you take care of your business. In addition to personal accounts, Walker County Federal Credit Union also offers business accounts and business lending for commercial customers. We're devoted to taking care of the needs of our individual members and helping our business members with their financial success too. Call us today and find out how easy it is to work with Walker County Federal Credit Union. Member NCUA.
Hi, I'm Billy Cawthon, manager of Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home. We know times of loss are tough, and you need a place to feel comfortable and cared for. At Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home, we pride ourselves on being with you during those really tough days. You can rest assured that we will be on your side and by your side every step of the way. Thank you for your trust. Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home, supporting families every day, every step.
Illuminate your child's future at Tomorrow's Promise Montessori Schools in Huntsville. Established in 1997 by Kay Boning, our award-winning center merges Christian values with 25 years of Montessori excellence, promoting wonder and discovery in every child. As the only Montessori school within 45 miles, we provide a fun and friendly environment, individualized Montessori methods, and love and care as if each child were our own. Safety is a priority, and with a recent $50,000 investment, our facilities inspire growth, creativity, and learning. Plus, as a nonprofit, we open Montessori doors to families of all economic backgrounds. Partner with the community pillar where every child's promise shines bright. Discover Tomorrow's Promise Montessori Schools today. Visit tpms.life. That's tpms.life.
This is Jason Bay, the pastor at First Baptist Church, Huntsville, and you're listening to Spirit Radio, the spirit of Huntsville.
Look who's back again. Michelle's back, tell a friend. Look who's back, look who's back, look who's back, look who's back. Look who's back, look who's back, look who's back. Yo, guess who's rolling in? She's back from summer break. Michelle's at SHU, you know she's wide awake. An intern now, working hard, but she still got jokes. With the lead crew, she's leading all the folks. They say she's a boss, but don't call her professor. She'll school you in a second, but still
Kid Rock. Yeah, here we go. Guess who's back, Jason?
I love it. I love it.
Michelle's back. She's actually here hanging out in the studio with us today. So
you can tell she's back because the quality of the show has just skyrocketed.
Yeah.
I mean, look who we had on today.
Yeah,
this is great.
She's actually behind the scenes. She's the one that gets people on the show.
Hey, way to go. Props.
Yeah, we'll just give, we'll give credit where it's not due all the time. No, I'm just kidding, Michelle. Well, Jason, we got it's one of my favorite segments here as we wind down in a few moments. News you can use, and I didn't want you to explain this one to me anymore during the break because we were just talking, and then out of nowhere, somebody hits this out into like left center.
Yeah.
And let us know about the news. I don't know if you can use, but it's some good news.
Yeah, well, I mentioned to you, I said, well, I don't have much today because, it's been such a busy week. And we've had so much going on. I haven't even had a chance to look at some articles and see what's going on in the media. But I did catch this one, Rob. The headline is, man bought a cruise ship on Craigslist and spent over $1 million restoring it. Then his dream sank.
What kind of That's pretty good. What kind of cruise ship was this?
Well, it's a 293-foot vessel, and it was built in 1955, I think I read in here. And he brought it back to California, and he bought it on Craigslist, and he had it towed to California. And what was interesting from the article was they began repainting. He'd never had an experience at restoring anything like this. So which is probably not a good idea to purchase something like this.
Did it say how much he bought it for?
Yeah, it did somewhere. I can't remember how much it was, but it wasn't a whole lot. He spent a whole lot more having it towed. And then when he brought it into the port, the people were complaining that it was sitting there in the port because it wasn't in good shape. So over in California, so then he ended up moving it to another port. It stayed there for like 3 years, and then they began to complain that he needed to do something with it, get it out of there. So then he moved it back to another part of California where he began pouring money into it, he said. And so it spent like over $1 million trying to restore it, and then all of a sudden they realized that it was sinking. And they found a hole that was in it, and it had literally sunk and set on the bottom of the where it was of the ocean. And but they noticed it was too late at that point, so then they had to try to raise it and fix it. And it just reminded me of the things that we buy sometimes that are completely stupid. Have you ever bought something and then immediately had regret that you bought it?
Yeah, a long time ago, like when it's not a funny one, but I bought when the LCD monitors first came out.
Oh, yeah.
I thought I really had to have one.
Yeah.
And man, I saved up money. It's like $400 back in the day. And I bought it, and as soon as I got it home and plugged it in, I said, this thing is a waste of money. Luckily, they took it back. But that's the one thing that I remember growing up that I regretted buying. Another one, whenever I had a beautiful Jeep Grand Cherokee, this was a limited edition, beautiful, first brand new vehicle I ever bought, man. I was a couple of years out of high school, didn't have a lot of bills back then, had a job, paid fairly good money. And so I had the resources to buy this vehicle zero down and beautiful. And then one day, I'll never forget, I see a friend driving a Jeep Wrangler. And I said, man, that thing looks cool. I really want to get one of those instead. And so what did I do? I traded it in. And the moment I got that Wrangler, I started to regret it. I said, man, I had this nice, comfortable car. The Jeep, don't get me wrong, the Wrangler was fun. And I ended up putting some big wheels on it. And it was fun because you could drive it over anything. But I'll never forget that. I regretted buying that Jeep Wrangler because I loved that Grand Cherokee so much.
Yeah, I have a Wrangler that I've been spending it's about like this cruise ship.
It's sinking and you put $1 million into it.
I bought it from a neighbor for $7,000. And I thought, oh, this is a steal. I got it, and it was old. It's like 2001 model, and Kim was like telling me all the time, don't you hate it when your wife's right? You shouldn't buy that. You shouldn't buy. Oh, it's okay. It's going to be fine. It's only $7,000. I'm not going to have to put a lot of money into it. I'd put it like a radiator, then a whole coolant system I had to put in it, and then I put the everything that you can imagine went wrong with it, and then finally, what happened? The motor blew up.
Oh man!
So then I'm thinking to myself, well, I'm already. By that time I was $12,000 into it. Well, I told my wife,
"Can I have a motor, sweetheart?"
I think we should just go ahead and get the motor. The rebuilt motor. And it cracked the block on this thing, and so then I spent $2,500 on rebuilding the motor. And this is no lie. Get the motor back, put in the thing, driving it away. It does it again. Yeah, there was the head on the thing was cracked. They didn't see the crack, so they made it all right, But it was like 6-month process after that, taking the motor back out, taking it down there, getting it all done, and I still don't have it back. And Kim's like, man, I told you you shouldn't have got that Jeep. But I love the Jeep because you're right. I'm not saying every Jeep, but this Jeep Wrangler that I had. It's terrible to drive, but I love to drive it because you're driving like 55 miles an hour down the road,
tops off,
and you feel like you're going 80 because everything's shaking.
Well, I took the doors off of mine, so I had the doors. I took all the bolts out, so literally, if at a moment's notice I want to take the door off, I just lifted it off and I'd set it to the side. This story, though. I just have to say this, and I'm not saying it in a negative way, because in Texas we joke about certain states, and one of them, this sounds like a true California story. You bring something there, put a lot of money into it. I thought the end of this story was going to be he finally towed it to Texas, because
everything in California starts in California, comes to Texas.
Yeah, because it gets expensive. You're throwing away money, waste, and then you decide to come to Texas.
That's right, definitely. But so if you see a cruise ship on Craigslist,
don't buy it.
Don't buy it.
All right.
All right. Another thing, just this was a list of things that I saw that this is on BuzzFeed, by the way, that they collect things from the internet that people are talking about. One of the things that this article is titled, Homeowners Are Revealing the Pricier Splurge Projects and Renovations That Just Aren't Worth the Money. Now, tell me if you've ever done this. Now, these are just individual people that said that they wish they hadn't done this, but one person put marble floors. They're beautiful, but a pain to maintain. They stain and scratch very easily. We put in our bathroom, I bought like a vanity for our bathroom, and I had like a marble top on it. And I was surprised how easily that marble does scratch. It does scratch very easily, and I'm kind of regretting that. Gutter guards, this person said that they spent a lot of money putting gutter guards on their rain gutters, and they could have just went down to Home Depot and bought a piece of plastic that would have done the same thing. Another person put they spent $10,000 for a range for their kitchen, and they don't ever hardly use it. One person said they spent $12,000 remodeling their kitchen, and they hardly ever use their kitchen. This was one I thought was interesting, a jetted tub. Person wrote, I always wanted one, and this one came with the house. It's nice to relax in, but when I have to clean the jets, which takes a while, and then see the gunk that comes out of the jets, rust, mildew, and the remnants from the last bath, I usually decide to take a shower instead. I bought one of these, by the way. We bought a jetted tub I thought when we built our little house, we put one in. I thought this would be great. And it is. They look nasty all the time. It's hard to clean those jets. You'd think that it would be a great thing, but it is a pain. Do you have something in your house, Rob, that y'all put in that you realize, man, I wish I hadn't have done that?
Not at our house now, because the funds are pretty limited. I do have one. It wasn't my fault. A tree fell on my house. I wish that tree wouldn't have came into my house. No, not really. I think about my old house though, and some things that I'd put in. I'd built this back. Well, that's the problem. I tore out the deck on my back on the back of my house, and I decided that I was going to build a porch back there on my own pier and beam. And so I researched how to do all this, and I forget the terminology, but like a floor truss, I put that in. I put concrete. I mean, I did all this on my own. Used lag bolts to bolt this to the side of the house so it wouldn't come off the concrete. And then once I started building it, Jason, I said, instead of like this screened-in porch, I'm just going to turn this into a room. Yeah. And so I literally built this entire room. It was pretty big, too. We're talking like 20 by 20. So 400 square foot little back room. Built this room. I put the pitch on the roof. It was coming right off the existing roof. I wasn't very good with the roof part, so I did have a guy come in and flash it and shingle it, but it had a really nice vaulted ceiling. I did the electricity, did it all myself, man. Here's the problem, though. I never finished it. And so I never put the siding on the outside, never put the sheetrock on the inside. And then dogs started living back there. And with dogs what starts happening. So it just turned into this, Bridget called it my hoarding room. And it was so embarrassing that we had to put that rosin paper that you get at Home Depot, the red paper that you lay down. We had to tape paper on the back of the French doors that I put in so you couldn't even see in that room. That's how horrible it was. And it sat like that for about 10 years. Yeah. When I sold the house, this guy, this real estate investor bought my house. They flipped that house, jacked up the price like 180 on the house. I was like, man, I wish I would have had the money to fix it up. That room turned out to be the most beautiful room. Oh, really? Wow. And I met the guy that owns the house now. He actually gave me a tour, and I said, my goodness, this is everything. He said, that is the most favorite room because I put windows all on it, and the guy behind me owns 13 acres, and there's deer that run back there. He said, man, this is my little oasis back here, and I wish that I would have had the money to do that.
See, there, you started it. But they finished it. You started it. So you get
story of my life. I start and I don't finish.
Oh, no. Come on, Rob. Come on, Rob.
But it is finished one day when I get up to heaven.
That's right. And the last thing I want to share with you comes from People Magazine. And the title of this is Mom Left Speechless After 2-Year-Old Son's Back-to-School Pictures Come Home. Now, this is that time of year where if it's not happened already, it will begin happening where you begin getting those packets from the school about, hey, these people are coming to take your kid's picture. And some of these people are great photographers, and some of them are amateurs, let me say, just to put it nicely. But I love this picture. It says one boy's back-to-school photos didn't turn out quite as his mom had envisioned. When her 2-year-old son came home from preschool, she was surprised to see him sitting with a pouty expression, hood up, and holding a Spider-Man figure. Take a look at this, Rob, and you can show it to the audience.
Hold on.
It was awesome.
Wait,
take a picture
right there.
of it.
Let me see if I can
was going to
fire
try to
this
send
up.
it to you, but I'm not good as technology.
Boy, he's not happy with that Spider-Man
Yeah,
either.
I know it, man. It's awesome, though. I love it.
Let's see if this Rob's phone. There we go.
Yeah, there you go. Check it out. See there?
Boy, he is not happy, is he?
It's so cute. I love it. I couldn't get over that. I laughed and laughed at that picture because I've had some very similar come home, and you know what's funny? Anybody can get a good picture, but one of these pictures like this, these are the ones you end up keeping.
That's the one that's on your living room when you walk in, yeah.
Because you never forget those. They're so great. But those back-to-school pictures, even if they're not perfect, be sure to save them because you'll look back and say, remember this?
Well, that is some news and some information you can use, brought to you by Jason Bay.
That's right.
Couple of final things. I just received a message. I got to go run it. My wife isn't feeling good, so I've got to go take the kids to school today. I want to wrap this up. A couple of things. On this day, 1796, George Washington's farewell address was published without the zip code, of course. Those hadn't been invented yet, but he did ask that all of his mail be forwarded there, by the way. It's really cool this day. There's been a lot of things relating back to the early foundations of our government here on this day. 1849 was the first commercial laundry that began in Oakland, California. Can you believe that? 1849?
Laundry.
It was also where the first laundry dancing TV show was filmed, Dancing with the Starch. So dumb.
Rob.
These are so bad.
Are you going to step in here and stop this?
On this date in 1883, New Zealand became the first country that gave women the right to vote. Man, that's just, you think about that. Go back to that, you know.
Dang, that is.
It was just kind of thinking about that. You know, you think about women's rights and how much this country has advanced, which is so important, things that really needed to be taken care of. Today, nasty. It's National Butterscotch Pudding Day. That stuff is nasty. Do you like that?
No.
That stuff is garbage. As my friend Nathan would say, it's just garbage. It's National Professionals Day. Definitely not my day. You know, I don't know about that.
Oh, all this new information you're gathering with the lights and stuff. Come on, Rob, you're this close.
It's National Talk Like a Pirate Day today.
All right, for the rest of the day.
And also National Voter Registration Day. So if you haven't registered, get out there and register. Jimmy Fallon turning 50 today. That's kind of crazy to think about. Trisha Yearwood, Miss Garth Brooks, of course, turned 60 today.
Is that what she goes by?
Yeah.
Miss Garth Brooks.
Miss Garth Brooks. Trisha Yearwood, Miss Garth Brooks. A couple of other ones here. Talk Like a Pirate Day. Words like arg and mighty or bloke really didn't fit in today's everyday lingo. So if you could on Sunday, can you go, arr, mateys, welcome into the service?
Well, if it would have fallen on that day, I would have definitely done it. But since today is National Pirates Day or Talk Like a Pirates Day, not Sunday, I won't be able to do it.
48. Here's the impossible question today, Jason. I don't know if you're guilty of this, but 48% of women say that they do not like this. In fact, they hate this when their man does this in their home. What do you think it is?
I can.
Any ideas?
A whole lot of things, but
48% of women say they just don't like this when their guy does this in the house. Do not do this in the house.
I don't know, Rob.
Michelle, any ideas? Any ideas? Michelle,
yeah, she's our resident expert on what women think.
Yeah, come on. This is why you're here, Michelle.
There's so many different things.
See there, that's what I said. Yeah. The list is endless. This is just one of many.
The answer is drinking straight from a carton, jug, or bottle out of the fridge.
Oh, that's gross.
So, yeah. Did you know the average person uses a plastic baggie how many times a year, Jason? How many times a year?
365.
140. Asparagus, the number one food we hated as kids, and now we love it. I can relate to that. I did not like it. Now I love asparagus. Back in 2000, we talked on the phone on average almost half a dozen times a day. Now it's just about twice a day, although I feel like my phone rings all the time.
Well, I think that's misleading because maybe talk on the phone, yes, but text communication by phone, which, I mean, like that goes back to what we talked about at the very beginning. People just don't talk to each other anymore. And that's so important, I think. Communication is desperately lacking, especially among the younger generation. I look at my kids, and they know how to text to one another, but they sure don't know how to talk to one another.
There goes the bus, and there they go under it, Jason.
I tell them that to their face. I'm not talking behind their back here. Come on, talk to somebody. Pick up the phone. Call somebody.
All right. Well, it's been a fun one here today. Jason, a lot going on here. We invite you to come be a part of our family at first. Maybe you haven't been to church in a long time, or maybe there's something in your past that you said, I just don't think that people would like this about me. Friends, this is a judgment-free zone. We want to welcome everybody.
That's
we call
right.
First Baptist a harbor of hope for a reason. We want you to be here on Sunday and find hope. Jason has just been so blessed, and we're so thankful to have you as our pastor. I know you're very humble. You don't want me saying that, but I will. It's God is working in a big way here at First, and we'd love for you to come and just experience and be part of our family. Sometimes when someone sees the word Baptist, I don't want to go to that. Look, friends, all are welcome here. It doesn't matter your background or where you came from, what you've been through, because I guarantee all of us have experienced something in our life too. But come here, come be loved, and come be part of our family. Come visit. We have service every single Sunday, 10:45. Jason will get you out by noon. Although last week it was the Lord's Supper. I think it was 12:03, but we got out of here.
See there?
But still.
Nobody's counting. Yeah. Nobody's checking their watch or anything.
Come on. And then also, though, great Bible studies for all ages at 9:30. And then on Wednesday, too, we want to encourage you. Even if you have a church family that you go to now, our Wednesday night life is open to everyone. We have something for everyone. Even if you have young children, we have a nursery and a very safe place to bring your children. All of our staff goes through a pretty rigorous training and background check, so you can feel safe knowing when you're here at First. And it's also a safe place to be on Sundays. Security is a very big thing with churches now, and we take that very seriously. So when you come here, come be a part of our family. We'd love to have you.
That's right. And we're going through the Beatitudes and the Sermon on the Mount. And I tell you what, when you start looking at this, you realize how much the Lord came for broken people. And myself included, you included, everybody included, is that we are a congregation of broken people. The Lord said it's not it's the sick people that need the doctor, and we're the people that need to come to the church and be lifted up, and that's what we want to do. And these Beatitudes are so empowering when you realize that the kingdom of God is meant for people just like you, the broken people, those that are a broken spirit, those that are mourning, those that are hurting. The Lord has come to give you life and that you may have it abundantly. And He's come to give you new direction. And that's what we want to do here on Sunday mornings is just come together and realize that we're not self-righteous. Our righteousness comes from Him.
Amen.
And I'm thankful for that because it gives us freedom to live in His mercy and grace. And that's what we're going to be talking about this Sunday. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall receive mercy. Just think about what that says. We live in a world where giving somebody the benefit of the doubt, showing grace and mercy to somebody is not something that's easily done or not often done. But the Lord is saying, as we show mercy to others, we will be shown that type of mercy.
Amen.
Should really open our eyes to how we treat other people.
Well, that's a good word, man. Well, Jason, appreciate you. And appreciate all of you. Thanks for engaging. Fun interview today with Bobby Williams.
Absolutely.
And we will be back at it tomorrow to close out the week. Our friend Billy Cawthon here from Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home. Billy's the last one that'll ever let you down, Jason. So, he'll be here with us tomorrow. And we're looking forward to having that show. Hey, we love you, Huntsville. Thanks for being a part of it. If you're going back and watching this later, do us a favor even now. You can share this broadcast even after the fact. So we just want to say thank you so much as we continue to inspire and uplift our community. For Jason Bay, I'm Rob Hipp, reminding you every single day, friends, and please don't let this gloss over that we're not strong enough alone to make it on our own. We need each other. Please provide a word of encouragement, lend a hand of support. Somebody, friends, out there needs you today. We'll see you back at it tomorrow morning with Billy here on Good Morning Huntsville at 7:30. Until then, friends, have a wonderful and blessed day. Thanks, Jason.
God bless you.